The topic of today's discussion, right? So we started off winning the lottery. The reality is we may or may not win the lottery, but most of us are probably going to have to get a job. And one of the things that's most essential in getting a job is having a resume. So, it's a small group. So I will really just take some time to hit on the high notes. If you have questions or thoughts, feel free to just stop me. Again, it's an intimate group, so we can have an open dialogue. But I really want to spend some time talking about like what is a resume, how it's essential, and what we can do to build that resume. And we'll basically walk through this together. So before I start, I'm going to highly recommend that you grab pen and paper if you take notes on your computer or tablet or iPad, so to speak. You really should take the time to kind of jot these things down. It's 5 steps that we're going to go through to help you build the things that you need to either build your resume or beef up your resume. And so I'll definitely highly recommend that. Just to get started, I wanted to take a moment to really ground ourselves in what a resume is. So, it's really two ways to spell resume, right? One looks a little fancier than the other. But in essence, it's really just a formal document that shows a person's career backgrounds and skills. So it's just an explanation of who you are, what you have accomplished, and what you're able to accomplish. So in most cases, it's created to help a candidate land a job. So for the most part, you're going to use a resume to get a job, but you can use a resume for a number of other things as well. So that traditional resume consists of your professional summary, so who you are, what you do, what you would like to do, your work history, education. It's just a way to market yourself when you're trying to receive a job offer, right? So this is what the tool that you're going to use to market yourself. So just like products, right? They market on TV, you see social media ads, you might hear things on the radio, right? Those are all marketing methods. You as an individual have to market yourself, and this is the main way that you're going to do that. So one of the things that I didn't realize when I was putting this together is that the word resume really comes from the French language. And it really just means summary, but they don't actually call it a resume, they call it a CV. So traditionally, a resume was first started back many years ago, and the concept of a resume was started many, many years ago. And it really was just a way to talk about yourself. So older resumes might have included like your hobbies, your interests, what you like to do. Now it's really used as a professional tool. And so, because it's so essential, we want to make sure that you are thinking about that now, even though you have not officially entered that workforce. It's never too soon for you to start thinking about a resume. So, what is the purpose of a resume? Why do we need it? So, the purpose of a resume is to introduce yourself to employers, present your qualifications, and secure an interview. That's the primary goal of having a quality resume. It's what's going to get you an interview. I myself am a hiring manager for the Grizzlies. That means I'm able to bring on employees. When people are applying for jobs with the Grizzlies, we get hundreds, and I mean hundreds of applications because people are Grizzlies fans or they want to work in nonprofit or they feel like they're qualified for the experience. I can't interview hundreds of people, but what I can do is take a look at resumes, see, okay, who fits the qualifications that I need for doing this job and doing it well. And then I want to bring them in and talk to them. So this is a great way to secure that interview. The goal is to showcase your experience, your education, and skills in a very standardized format that's easy for a recruiter or a hiring manager to read. So we really just need a way to be able to compare candidates, right? What makes you stand out? What makes you qualify? What makes you feel like you should be the person for this job? This allows us the ability to do that. A resume is absolutely a must have. Without it, you can't be expected to get a job interview. Nowadays, you apply online. There are things that you can fill out, right? Like you can fill out all the information that they're asking that may be on your resume. But for the most part, a lot of hiring managers don't even look at that. All they want is a stack of resumes. So, just to emphasize how it's important it is, we want to make sure that you have a strong resume so that you can stand out amongst other candidates. So this is just an illustration of a sample resume. So I want to ask who already has a resume. Who on this chat already has a resume? And feel free to drop that in the chat. If you already have a resume, say that you have one in the chat. If you haven't started a resume or this is brand new to you, feel free to share that as well. Okay. All right. So I got one person that has a resume so far. Okay. Great. Looks like our Lemoyne students have resumes for the most part. What about high schoolers? Any of our current high schoolers have you started a resume? Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Great. So this is designed just to get you jump started. The reason why we want you to think about this now is so that you can start tracking your experiences so that you can build that resume so that when an opportunity presents itself and someone says, send me your resume, you're not scrambling to put one together. You have the information that you need to put it together. So this is just, again, a sample illustration of what your resume should look like. At its most basic sense, you want to have your name and your contact information, that's email, phone number, sometimes your address. You may or may want to include that. A summary or an objective, and we're going to talk about why that objective is important for students. Your professional history. So if you've worked somewhere, how long you worked there, and what you did at that position. Education is going to be big deal for you guys because you are students. So anything dealing with your educational history, your skills, what you've accomplished in terms of awards and achievement, even hobbies or interests, which are optional things. So this is just, again, a basic framework. I know resumes can sound very intimidating, but it isn't as challenging as you think. So we're going to walk through the steps to build a quality resume. One thing that I want to note, focusing in on high school students, is that we're not expecting you to have 3 to 5 years worth of work experience. That's unrealistic. So these are some of the things that you actually can include on your resume to make it look full. So the first is education, your GPA. If you have a low GPA, you may not want to include that on your resume, right? But if you've got a pretty strong GPA, I might say 3.0 or above, you want to make sure that you share that on your resume. Any jobs that you may have. Some of you guys may already be working, right? I think Chick-fil-A hires at the youngest age. So you could already be working in a professional setting. It doesn't matter that it's just fast food or it's just you think it's not a big deal. I just work at Walgreens or I just work in my family business. It doesn't matter. All of that can be quality experience for you. Clubs, activities, sports, any extracurriculars, they're great to include on your resume, as well as achievements and honors. If I don't know I'm trying to think of the equivalent of the dean's list in high school, right? But if you made the honor roll, making sure you include that. If you're in National Honor Society, things like that, clubs and organizations that you've received awards in, include those. Any projects. If one of your classes required a really intricate project that you got a lot of experience from, include that. As well as any additional skills that you may have. If you've done public speaking or you've led a youth group somewhere, even if it's at your church or a community center. And then your hobby, shout out to Cam, I love dance. Didn't know you were going to be on here. Love dance, but that was the first thing that that came to mind. Things that you're interested in. So start to think about those things. So even though you don't have a significant professional experience, and this goes for college students as well, you may not have years of experience because you spent your career in school. These are some of the things that a hiring manager is going to be looking for. Also, don't discount some of the experience that you do already have. So babysitting, I babysat for years. And I, again, thinking that was pretty insignificant, but when I started a career in youth development, all of that experience working with young people was valuable to me. If you mow lawns, if you walk dogs or pet sit, if you participate in community events with your church or do community service with another organization, if you have your own blog or YouTube channel, that's great to share. That includes time as well as a popular social media account. So Kim was talking about creating content. If you're a content creator, that is great to see. So those are some of the things that are also great to share on your resume. Of course, you want to make sure that you don't have any inappropriate content, anything that's going to disqualify you from whatever that position is on your social media. I know you guys have probably seen news articles about people getting kicked out of school because they said something crazy, maybe something racist, or they did something inappropriate. We don't want that to be you, right? So we want to make sure that there are things that you can share that are out on the internet that are appropriate. Anybody have any examples that I might have left off that a college student or a high school student might be participating in at this point in their careers? Anything come to mind? Feel free to unmute or drop it in the chat. Let's see what we got. Prior internship experience, absolutely, right? That can be paid or unpaid. It's never too early to get an internship, an apprenticeship, or you shadow, even if you went and participated in like a shadow day. We hosted one at the Grizzlies. Again, a great opportunity to put that on your resume. Great suggestion. So I want you guys to continue to think about things that you can include on your resume. So in contrary, I wanted to show just a simple example of a student resume, right? So you know that this is possible, that you can put this together. So Rachel Bean from Chicago, right? She shared her objective. She's got her education front and center. When she plans to graduate, her GPA, some of the AP courses that she's taken, which again is a great indication of leadership, as well activities. So she's a president of a club, right? Or she's participating in things. Those are great to show. Skills, additional things like she babysits or she teaches Sunday school to 2 and 3 year olds. That's excellent, right? You're taking some leadership initiative. She shares her hobbies, writing and softball. So now I know that she likes organized sports. And also she has a little bit of work experience. So helping out at the salon, right? So this is a very simple resume, but it shows that she's taken the time to think about her experience. And now this is something that she can continue to build on. So as she gets more experience, she can move things out the way. Anybody have any questions about this so far? All right, great. So we're just going to talk through 5 steps that you need to build your resume. So together we're going to build our resume. So as I said, I highly recommend you start to write some of these things down as we're talking through them, things that stand out to you that are pertinent to your life and your experiences, so you can start building that resume. So the first is having a career objective, creating and establishing a career objective. This is just one or two sentences that really summarizes what your career goals and how your talent and skills align with the needs of that employer. So future thinking, what are you trying to accomplish? So of course, while any age and career level can benefit from having that objective, I think it's most important for our high school students, and perhaps even your college students, because your work history may not really be reflective of your goals and where you want to be, what you want to accomplish. So now is the time to start thinking about that. What do I want to do in the future? What types of jobs do I want to have? What experience do I need to get to where I want to be in life? So adding that career objective to your resume will give your potential employers a really clear idea about why you are applying for that job and how that decision to hire you could be beneficial. So I'm going to share a couple of examples of what that might look like. I'm a motivated team player and aspiring graphic designer seeking an opportunity to work in a sign shop where I can apply my skills and further develop my artistic abilities. So this is an example. Can I get someone to read the second example for me?
Examples of high school student resume career objectives. Hold on.
No worries.
I am a motivated team player and aspiring graphic designer seeking an opportunity to work in a sign shop where I can apply my skills and further develop my artistic abilities. I am an inspiring leader with more than 3 years of experience in child care, seeking a position as a summer camp counselor. I'm excited to share my talents while expanding my leadership skills as a part of a valued community institution.
Great, thank you. And so while I have you, what might be your career objective? And also, if you just want to introduce yourself really quick, your name, the school that you're associated with, and your year, that'd be great. Miss Robertson.
Can you repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Just introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Kanae Roberson. I am a second semester junior at the Lemoyne College. What else would you like me to tell you?
And what might be your career objective? If you were revamping your resume, what would be your objective?
Well, reading theirs, I'm not doing what they want to do. I'm an inspiring leader.
Okay.
With an interest in counseling.
Great.
And I've been a part of our Career Pathways Initiative at Lemoyne for about 3 years now. And so that has helped me to build my leadership experience and just to get closer to working with my peers, because I do want to counsel my peers. So that has helped me a lot with that.
Excellent, excellent. So you're almost resume ready. I love that, right? She knows what she wants to do. So I want you guys to, if you haven't already written down what your career objective might be, take a moment to write that down. What is it that you want to accomplish? If you were applying for a job, whatever that first job is out of school, what would that be? What is your objective there? I'll give you a second to write that down. I would love for you, maybe those that didn't share, if you have something that already comes to mind, feel free to drop that in the chat as well. Great, so moving on to number 2, building our resume. Number 2 is highlighting any experience that you might have. So that includes really illustrating all that you bring to the table, your work ethic, your abilities to participate in team-based activities, highlighting any leadership experience, any achievements or awards that you've had within those roles. So that also includes sports teams as well. Those are really great. Any clubs or organizations that you are a part of. So we know that the positions that you've held may not directly connect to whatever your future job is. The responsibilities and those leadership skills are transferable. So I know if you were a strong team player on the football team, that you also can be a strong team player working for the Memphis Grizzlies, right? So I want to be able to see those connections. So really highlighting any experience that you have, and really taking the time to look at the job description and look for any keywords or specific things that they're asking for, requirements that align with your talent, skills, and abilities. So here's an example of what that might look like. So if you're applying for a role as a barista, like, okay, you want to work at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, and the job description says that they want someone with good customer service and organizational skills, you might share something like this. Hey, I was a student volunteer for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life program. I was able to manage the registration table, greet people, check in people, handing out water and snacks, right? That's kind of like handing that coffee to the people. Hey, you ever been to Starbucks? They say, hey, welcome to Starbucks, right? Attending and contributing to occasional after school planning meetings. If you're working a job, you're going to have meetings. You're going to have to know how to prep, plan, and prepare. And this person also spearheaded efforts to recruit and train new student volunteers. If you're good at your job, you're going to have to train other people to come in and do the job as you move up, right? So you want to start thinking about those things that might be transferable to the position that you're in. So whatever that position is, what skills are they asking for there, and what experiences that you already have that can connect the two. Any questions about highlighting experience?
No, ma'am.
Great. So step 3 is providing a detailed education section. So this is all about your education experience. So we know that you probably don't have a long list of job experiences, but we know that your participation in school, in and out of the classroom will really help a hiring manager have insight into what you bring to the table as an employee. So this can include academic achievement, again, as well as those participation in extracurriculars, because we want to see that you're well-rounded, that you didn't just focus in all on one thing. So it's great to have one hobby, right? You want to, I don't know if it was Jordan or Justin that said they want to draw, right? Learn how to draw. Well, it's great that you want to draw, but we don't want to see that you've invested all your time, money, and energy in drawing. We want to see that you like to draw and that you're a part of Spanish club and that you play on the intramural, basketball team, and that you serve out in the community, right? We want to make sure that that you are on the honor roll at school. So we want to see all of those things to make sure that you're a well-rounded individual. So as I noted, if you have a really impressive GPA, definitely make sure that you share that. If you've completed any challenging classes, any AP courses, and things like that, definitely share that, because that can illustrate your dedication and ability to overcoming obstacles and taking on new challenges. Also include those extracurriculars. That shows that you're able to balance multiple priorities and responsibilities. Hey, I know that you can handle multiple things that I'm throwing to you. And then any coursework that you've taken that's related to the job. So if you want to get a career in sports and you've taken PE, advanced conditioning, advanced weightlifting, and every other sport class that they offer at your school, great, include that. If you want to get a job as a chef in the future, right? If you've taken cooking classes in high school, make sure that you include those. If you are interested in doing jobs that do with your hands, right? If you took maybe a masonry course in school, right? Make sure that that's on your resume so that you can show that you are already thinking about your future and how you're going to prepare for that. So an example, this person shared their GPA, which is a 3.7, great, impressive. They shared their graduation date. Okay, I know that you may either be in school while you're applying for this job, or once you have graduated, I know when it's time to hire you. They've shared that relevant coursework because they're applying for a job at a media company. So they took journalism, they've done yearbook, they've done creative writing and photography. These are things that directly correlate to media and public relations. Excellent. I know that they have a basic foundation and understanding of this work. Wonderful. And then also their clubs connect to media, right? The school newspaper. I don't know if they still do those actually. Art Club, International Club, Future Business Leaders of America is a great extracurricular. Hopefully, you guys still have that. I participated in FCCLA back in the day, but FBLA was excellent as well. So again, it's totally fine for you to pull those connections and make those correlations so that you have some relevant experience. And then moving on to number 4. Number 4 is listing out those awards and achievements. So think about the things that you have accomplished because it lets that employer know that you have a history of making an impact. You're not just there, but you're doing it well. You're doing it in excellence. So that really proves that you can make a positive contribution, and it will help you stand out above other candidates, right? So if you're applying for a job and everybody applying is a high schooler or college student, we know that you're going to school and that's pretty much all you're doing. But how did you excel when you were going to school? What makes you stand out? What did you achieve and why did you have that accomplishment? Because then I know, hey, if they work hard in this space, they're likely to work hard in other spaces. So some examples of awards or achievements, things that you can include. This person included National Honor Society. Maybe you were elected to student government. So you were student body president, the treasurer, the secretary, class president, Mr. Lamont Owen, whatever that is. Make sure that's on your resume. Awarded the school newspaper best feature article of the year, right? So this is connecting back to those clubs and organizations that this person is involved in. Help with the yearbook staff, help the yearbook staff increase ad sales 30%, right? They're already putting in the work, right? They have numbers to prove that they're making an impact. Oh, I definitely want to hire them. So think about ways that you've made contributions, even if you haven't received an actual formal award. What are those achievements and accomplishments that you can share? Even things like if you play sports, most improved, or player of the year, or things like that. Help us to know that you are a hard worker. And then last but certainly not least, sharing those hard and soft skills on your resume. Anybody have an idea of what hard or soft skills are? If so, feel free to unmute and share your definition of hard or soft skills. Anybody want to take a stab at what that might mean?
I didn't know it was a difference. Like I didn't know it was a hard or a soft skill. I just thought all the skills that we acquired or we have, we just put them like Microsoft or Excel or being able to work with those objects. Yeah.
Yeah, this wasn't something that I actually knew, when I was your age, right? And so I thought it would be important to talk about what a hard or soft skill is. So when you hear it, now you know what people are talking about. Because people may throw it around. You may even hear your teachers talk about learning those hard or their soft skills or increasing your soft skills. It's something that employers talk about a lot. So I just want to take a moment to talk about those. So for sure, You want to have a lot of different skills, but you want to have a combination of hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills are the abilities that are specific to a job, while those soft skills are attributes that can be applied in any position, in any area, in any work that you're doing. So most of the time, hard skills are learned and they're based on experience, while soft skills are really based on your personality and aren't taught. They're your natural gifts and abilities, right? So they really deal with your personality and just who you are, versus hard skills are things you're gonna learn and get experience in. So soft skills aren't really easily measured. So when you think about them, you think about things that you really cannot measure. So things, examples, being a good listener or being engaging in small talk, right? You can talk to anybody, or when you hear people say they never met a stranger, right? Being able to just talk to people you don't know, that's a soft skill. Or getting along with others, right? Being able to make connections or make people feel comfortable. Those are all soft skills. And again, really have to do with your personality, whereas hard skills are measurable. So there are things that you can quantify. So how many words per minute you type, or whether or not you know how to use Adobe, or you know how to edit your content on YouTube, or you've had experience working with kids in a certain environment, right? Or different terminology, or you can operate certain equipment. Those are hard skills. So you want a combination of both. You want to be able to share, a little bit about your personality and how you are a great team player and how you're able to connect with others. But you also want to show that, hey, I learned these things, I've accomplished these things, and I've experienced these things. So those are two things that you want to look at. So, for example, if you were applying for an internship as a graphic designer, someone who designs graphics, hard skills might include, how to use Photoshop, InDesign, you create logos, you know how to do digital design and print design. In comparison, those soft skills are that you are an active listener, right? That's important because if you have a client, you need to listen to what they want. You communicate well verbally, right? Clients don't call and they're like, that person was rude or nasty, or I couldn't understand what they're saying. They have great verbal communication skills. Accepting constructive criticism. You need to be able to do this so that you can get better, right? You may have talents now that really can be enhanced if you can accept some constructive criticism. You have great customer service, right? I want to make sure that my customers are happy. And you have problem solving skills. So if something comes up, I can trust that you're going to handle that. So that's a comparison for hard skills versus soft skills. So you definitely want to have both. Anybody have any questions about hard skills versus soft skills?
Oh, ma'am.
Great. So just a few keys that I want to leave you guys with in terms of building your resume. So one, again, remembering that this is your marketing document. So you want to make a good impression on whoever is going to be reading it. And this is the best way to do that. So think about how you can market yourself well. Treating your resume as a summary of your experience. So your education, your skills, but be concise and to the point. Make sure that it's relevant, that you're not just including everything that you've ever done, right? I take out the trash every morning. Okay, maybe that's not quite as relevant. But you want to make sure that you have them presented in a way that is relevant to what you're applying for. Also, make it look good. In this format, we're not, really dealing with formatting or templates or whatever. I'm going to leave you guys with an example template that you can use, but you want to make sure that it looks good. And then also, you really want to respect the reader. So you really want to proofread those resumes and make sure it's high quality. We talked about having people in your network that can support you, asking your parents, siblings, friends to look at it, make sure everything is spelled correctly, make sure everything is aligned, it looks good. I will let you know I'm one of the first ones. If I get a resume and it's got a bunch of mistakes on it, boop, you're gone, right? Because I know that you don't pay attention to detail. What I take from that is that you were careless. You didn't really care that much about this job to take the time to ask somebody else to look at it. I know that you may not really be invested in this work. And so I'm very, very, especially when I have tons of resumes to look at, I'm very, very critical in that regard. So you want to make sure that you're producing something that's really high quality because, again, it is a representation of who you are and what you bring to the table.